Hi everyone, Callum from FS Elite here, and welcome back to the Aviation Lads showcase. If you watched any of our previous showcases, you will have seen some of the amazing trailers that Maurice from Aviation Lads has already created. Our next batch of trailers does exactly the same. He is such a meticulous person when it comes to creating content. If you're a flight sim developer, I highly recommend using Maurice for your trailers in the future. Not only will he capture the essence of your product, but it's backed by an incredible soundtrack. What is really exciting about working with Maurice is he will be able to find a tone that suits your product. Whether that is a slow, scenic soundtrack to match those beautiful sceneries, or if you need something grand and epic, he will find something just for you. And if you're a lover of grand and epic, you're going to love this next trailer. Check it out.
T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We are transferring to orbiter internal power at this time. Discovery is now running off its 3 onboard fuel cells. Coming up on a go for auto sequence start. Start. 2, 1, boost ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
We got a roll program.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on proper heading.
Hey everyone, I'm Maurice, founder of Aviation Lads. Your go-to partner for eye-catching, high-quality marketing content in the flight sim world. All the trailers you're seeing here were created by Aviation Lads, and today we proudly present them in collaboration with FS Elite. You got a new product from Microsoft Flight Simulator? You want to wow your audience? Then let's talk. More information at aviationlads.com. Our YouTube channel, just search Aviation Lads, or come and talk to me right here at the show. I wish you an awesome time in Providence and for us all an unforgettable FS Expo 2025. See ya.
Keep going.
Star 427, Roger, report, start up 1175. 12175, Great Star 427, Ignore image for that.
Çıkış kapısından uçak gelmeleri rica olunur. Attention please. Pegasus Airlines flight number PC-2816 Troxon is ready for departure. Passengers are requested to proceed to gate number 209.
So what you just watched there was MXI Designs' Istanbul. MXI has done an amazing job at really replicating this important Turkish airport. Of course, Aviation Lads does an amazing job at kind of finding all those nuanced areas as well, which is perfect for these video trailers. Of course, when it comes to buying products, we want something as a flight simmer that is easy, reliable, and accessible for everyone, which is why I think you're going to enjoy this next trailer.
Did you know that many flight simulation creators have their own shop? Enjoy direct access to top-tier developers like Flightbeam Studios and explore mega hubs around the world. Embrace the excitement of being a Navy pilot with direct purchases from Miltech Simulations. Support these incredible creators by buying direct. Introducing the Contrail desktop app, your one-stop solution for seamless account and purchase management. Connect to your favorite creator shops, manage all your products, and enjoy hassle-free checkouts, all in one place. Experience effortless installations with the click of a button. Discover new places to visit around the world using Contrail's map feature. Have you found something you like? Think of Contrail as a shopping mall. The same product might be priced differently across stores, or even be on sale in one of them. Once you select your preferred buying option, Contrail ensures a swift and seamless checkout. And from the checkout to the cockpit in a heartbeat. It's time to fly. Download the Contrail desktop app now and manage your Microsoft Flight Simulator add-ons with ease.
Hey everyone, Maurice here from Aviation Lads. I hope you enjoy watching these amazing trailers for products past and present. Here just a few more videos for you to watch and to get inspired for your next flight simulation adventure. Hey everyone, Maurice here from Aviation Lads. I hope you enjoy watching these amazing trailers for products past and present. I wish you an awesome day here in Providence, a great rest of the show, and don't forget to subscribe to Aviation Lads.
It's a FlightSimExpo 2025. Callum here from FS Elite, joined with Jordan, and all of our content is proudly sponsored by Meridian GMT, and we're here for the post-show wrap-up from FS Expo Friday. I mean, it's been a...
What a day!
Crazy 5-hour show. I mean, just announcement, reveals, trailers. This show really had it all today, don't you think?
I think so. And you know, we sat down last week, aka this morning, and just put together some kind of weird and wonderful predictions from what we thought would happen. I got one. That's it. That's it. That's all
I think that's 100% more than what I got, though. I mean, we
you announced one of the products.
I know. I mean, we did put some really far out there kind of predictions, I guess. But that's the whole fun of predictions and stuff. But today we honestly had it. I think what was really great about this showing is that most people really took the whole announcement thing to heart and didn't just kind of do an announcement of an update. It was truly brand new, big reveals, big surprises that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Yeah.
You know, what was one of your favorite ones that you saw from today?
It's hard to pick one. I think, you know, just for sheer value for money in the time that they spent on stage, Tony from Winwing. We knew it was going to be big. We had no idea what they were coming with, and you know, I've joked in our last video, and I said, they're either going to move away from the airliner stuff, or they're going to, you know, be able to build an A320 cockpit for about $4,000 or less, or you know, $300, whatever. And they've started to really, you know, we've got the main stuff, FMC panels, autopilot panels, and we've now got tillers, transponder panels, force feedback airliner pedals. I mean, every new slide was a different product. I think there was 11 in total. And of course, in true Winwing style, you know, transponder panels, $77.
Yeah.
Force feedback pedals for either $499 or higher pressure pedals for $599. It's just insane.
Yeah.
And it's got to a point now where they've had to build another facility to
accommodate all of
manufacture.
it. Yeah.
So, yeah, incredible. And you know, they always really turn up. and they didn't waste any minute on stage.
They had no opportunity to waste a minute. But what's really cool as well is obviously if you're here at the show, it's going to be all out on the show for or some of it anyway. It's going to be here to try out tomorrow, over the weekend. And that's the cool thing I think about having this thing on the Friday is they can big up and hype everything that's happening, but it then gives people that chance to go, right, I'm going to plan my weekend around all these different booths and try out all these different things and get a real feel for everything that was happening.
Yeah.
And we said hardware was going to be a big year. So we had FlightSim.com come on. They talked a lot about what they teased at FS Weekend about this. I mean, I think my favorite thing from their particular presentation was this idea that I can control the yoke.
And mine, and if we had the same one, it would influence my one as if we were sat next to each other.
So like, that is such innovative technology that I don't think we've ever seen in a flight simulator product in the past, and we've always wanted this shared cockpit functionality, and that kind of takes it to this whole new level.
Physically, it's shared,
So it was unfortunate that we couldn't see the whole presentation, but obviously, like they said during the show, everyone's time's a little bit limited, so having, again, people can come to the show, watch it, and obviously we'll be present at their booth at some point to hopefully give it a look at as well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about time was tight on the stage. They got, someone kind of ushered them off because there was so much to talk about, just not enough time today. And they weren't just the only ones. Poor Fabian was halfway through a video and caught short. Meridian, GMT, of course, Nikki, which we've finally seen a physical product from Nikki.
A couple of physical products.
Yeah, I mean, really exciting to see how quickly Nikki's turned that around, and walking so proudly on the stage with it physically. Really impressive. And one thing I really like about his approach to things is that kind of interchangeability without the faff of all the setup. And lots of people today were talking about this plug and play element and auto switching between different aircraft, and whatever you're flying at the time, it automatically recognizes. And I think that's such a pain point, having to not only set hardware up physically, but then to have to tell the sim that this is the hardware for this aircraft.
For every sim as well.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what you're on. So I think that's really solid.
Yeah.
And to see all of the features depending on the aircraft you're flying. He showed a couple of slides of Airbus, full range of motion, even in reverse. Having all of that kit, all in the module that you just plonk on the front of the... Impressive, really impressive.
And I think this is a pivotal time in flight simulation. We've obviously seen the surge of kind of the Xbox crowd and the gamer crowd, and total valid flight simmers in any kind of view in my opinion. But obviously, the Xbox controller is fine, but it does lack a lot of the finite controls that you need, such as your rudder pedals, like throttle and stuff. And this year we saw, again, Meridian announce their X-ray controller, which they didn't get to show on stage, but they had a couple of demo units brought up on stage. I got to try one out yesterday, actually, just before the presentation, and it's jam-packed full of different levers, switches, buttons, anything you can think of in order to have that more precise control, but in a very compact way. And what was really cool is the throttle part is kind of modular. So you literally pull it out, and then you can put a helicopter, what's it called?
A collective.
Thank you. Not collective. A helicopter guy. Yeah, collective.
Yeah.
So you can literally pop that in, change the faceplate, and it's all part of one package. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that was although we didn't get to see it on stage, it's definitely here, and we're going to be able to go hands-on tomorrow, which will be fun.
I think it's really good that these developers aren't just thinking about the hardcore simmer. They're thinking about those people that don't either have time to set up a full flight, want to sit on the sofa and do things like that. And I think, the more elevated that experience becomes, the more likely it is that they'll move over to, become a hardcore simmer. And it means that the community grows, and I think that's best for everyone.
100%. So I think my favorite announcement, because I asked you that question earlier, Navigraph. So I think charts are amazing, but when you go to a new airport for the first time and you're trying to figure out like the taxiways and stuff, it's mind-boggling to me because you get you're on VATSIM, you get your clearance,
especially on VATSIM,
and it's like
sweat moment.
Yeah, it's like verbal diarrhea when they give you like your taxiway instructions and stuff, right? But to have what Navigraph announced today with this whole taxiway guidance system on the charts thing, I thought that's just going to make life so much easier. And I think they just had a really cool presentation as a whole. And yeah, for me personally, that was just that's the product or tool I'm going to use probably most often out of everything that was shown off today.
Yeah, and funny you mentioned Navigraph. It was the only thing that I got right. We finally got a scratch pad. It was the one thing I really wanted for ages. Most people just use a pen and paper, but I'm fancy. I want to do it in Navigraph, and they're adding that. And I think just visually, you were talking about how hard it is to navigate new airports. I have to Google sometimes where a flight, I'm replicating a real world flight. I have to Google what gate it went from and what gate it went to, what terminal it departed from. Navigraph will then show you a visualization of each gate, and then so you don't have to go back to a different chart with all the gate numbers on them and gate locations, and each terminal is a different color. So it just makes flying a little bit more straightforward and easy, and less guesswork, and I think that's great. The Navigraph team, they're large when they come to these shows. There's a lot of them.
33 of them. I spoke to Magnus earlier. Yeah,
but they don't stop.
Nope.
And you just think it's just a charts tool, but it's no longer just a charts tool.
No.
It's it's an integral part of flying. I really love that.
And I think they have more to come because they're joining us on the FS Elite stage tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at some point, I think they're going to talk about something else, but you'll have to wait and see.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But speaking of like your predictions and stuff, I think you were kind of on, it wasn't a prediction as such, but you certainly said what you wanted to hear about was X-Plane talking about scenery. And we also spoke about the store as well in our predictions video.
Yes.
Both of which were mentioned.
There were words on the screen that said scenery upgrade and store, and that was pretty much it.
But like, hats off to the Laminar team. They obviously talked about kind of their journey for the last couple of updates and kind of the immediate future. But I did hope to see a little bit more of the longer term stuff. Flashing up the logo of the store, it's great. It's still there.
Yeah. They're not kind of just going, remember the store thing that we did.
But we saw a preview of the store like about a year ago.
Yeah.
I feel like we just need to see a couple more screenshots or just a bit of a demonstration or a little bit more of a feature set just to keep that appetite wet really for what they have to come, because it is going to be really useful for a lot of people to have a built-in store into that ecosystem. So yeah, a bit disappointed we didn't get a little bit more. But it's nice to see Laminar kind of close out today's show with, talking about their updates as well. And
I think they did allude to there is more information around those things, but come and see them.
Yeah.
Whether it's because they don't want the full announcement, they just want it on a personal level. But I don't think that is what they're after. I think it very much is a discussion point, and they are willing to talk about it, because otherwise they wouldn't have encouraged people to go to the booth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm going to make it my mission this weekend to go and dig a little bit deeper. But they have been working hard on so many other things. So their A330, which is a default aircraft, has got a full weather radar system that does tilt vertical and lateral and horizontal. So that's incredible on a default aircraft. It's also got inbuilt CPLDPLD
XYZ, yeah.
D that integrates with the air traffic control built in, so you can get your ground clearance, you can get all your AOC messages, which I thought in a default aircraft is just incredible.
And it's nice to see them actively update default airplanes.
Yeah.
Like even beyond the scope of where it was originally at anyway. So that's really encouraging to see. And again, props to the Laminar team for continuously listening to feedback and obviously seeking feedback from the floor today for tomorrow. Yeah, some exciting stuff, but I just need a little bit more.
Yeah, and funny you say like taking feedback on. They showed essentially what the community have asked them for, and that's what they're working on. So we know the community's asked for scenery in the store. They are definitely going to work on it. It's just about when and where.
How does that fit into their overarching timeline? Yeah.
They also have recently taken on Mr. X, who's a scenery developer for X-Plane.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of gateway assets for people to use and build, which top-notch stuff. Mr. X is a very talented person. Can only make the scenery element of X-Plane even better.
Yeah.
So yeah, very excited.
So we talked about the last presentation of the day. So let's go to the very beginning of the day. So Evan, as usual, does an amazing job at kind of introducing FlightSimExpo. There was no skit this year because this hotel didn't decide they were going to close down 2 months before the show.
Why? What happened last year?
Oh, something to do with a baseball stadium. And then immediately Evan then introduced Parallel 42. We saw a familiar face. We saw Ed Correa, who has previously worked in the industry with another company.
Like a very long time as well.
Yeah, and to see him as the first person to come out and talk about Chase Plane and to talk about a bunch of other things happening at Parallel 42, such as the scenes as well. It was nice to see him back in the flight simulation space. I've known Ed for a long time now, and it's always a delight to hear what he has to say. And he's such an intelligent and thoughtful guy in terms of thinking about what the community wants. And again, Parallel 42, they wear their heart on their sleeves. They want to make sure that they are building cool products that they like and appeal to them, but also to the community and listening to their feedback. And I think we saw that today in their presentation, especially for Chase Plane. I think Chase Plane has been that product what people have wanted since Microsoft Flight Sim came out, back in 2020, and it came out. But there are niggles that people wanted, and it's good to see that they listened to all that feedback and have refactored a bunch of it. We've got the new cinematic stuff where you can actually pick which cinematic thing you want.
I really like the fact that they were presented with a really huge problem in that there's a bridging issue between a camera system and the base sim. It just doesn't exist. So instead of waiting for something to change, they built it. They built their own, and it's a really ingenious way of looking at such a problem, because it, as you said, Chase Plane is so in demand. Everyone was just waiting for it. So yeah, it's really nice to see that there are really no barriers too big for a team that have really been working hard. I mean, they're so busy at the moment. Yeah.
And so Chase Plane, their scenes, Flow being updated for 24. Again, all that stuff takes time, and it'll come when it comes. They got their Patriot aircraft, and as Evan mentioned as well in his opening session, this is the first time we've had an aircraft manufacturer come to a FlightSimExpo, and they haven't just come like themselves, but they've actually bought the plane. And on the floor tour tomorrow, you're going to see this aircraft on the show floor next to the virtual representation that Parallel 42 have made, which is freaking cool.
Yeah, I mean, count the rivets and make sure they're in the sim, because you get the opportunity to, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is incredible. It looks very Cub-like, but it's not 70-odd, 80-odd years old.
Yeah.
It's brand new, really high tech, looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's got a great paint scheme. I think it just looks really great on the show floor.
Yeah.
So,
and they've got the camp scene stuff all laid out.
It's very Parallel 42.
It very much is. And also props to them as well, because they've got a little exhibitor lounge just for people to, being on the show floor is hard work, so having that little space is just a real nice touch for them as well. Anyone else take you by surprise today?
I guess what we couldn't call this morning, was VA systems / now VA hardware.
Yeah.
That was probably the most surprising product, I thought. So they've brought out a flight tracking panel. A physical panel. It's in your hands.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. Comes in 3 colors. And it's subscription free. So you buy credits, you display your flights, and it's just nice to see them kind of branching out because they're very well known for their airline schedules, and they always make a real big effort at the shows. They had a huge booth last year.
This is double the size.
And this is even bigger.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the actual product. I'm going to go and have a look. But yeah, really surprising from them. And yeah, can't wait to see what else they're going to do.
So I had a sneak peek. I got given the unit. It's very light, but it's structured in a way where if you lay it on a table, it will be slightly raised, so you're not having to do that. You can just look down at a natural eye level. I think its use case is very unique.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to them earlier of obviously being a flight attendant, being away all the time, so my parents text me all the time saying, where are you in the world? And it's hard for people to keep up with where I am. But having a tool like that where they can instantly just see where I am, because I can send them the flight data, then yeah, I can see that being quite useful. And I think they talked about how you can sync it up to real world stuff, into your sim. And yeah, there's just lots of opportunities to kind of bring your flight sim out of the PC into kind of a more aesthetically pleasing part of your house. And
I think it's going to be quite popular with streamers. I could just see it on a shelf behind a streamer, because you get the overlays on your screen, but having something physical behind you just tracking your flight, I think it's really cool. I would really love a train one to see where my first train is in the morning and if it's going to be cancelled.
That's very helpful.
If they can link it to trains, that'd be even better.
That'd be great. I would say the trepidation or the challenge they're going to face was the price. I think it kind of caught people a little bit by surprise.
Yeah. Given that it's quite a niche product.
And they're new to the market, and it's tough, right? Because they've had Winwing today talk about flight sim stuff being dead cheap.
Yeah.
Obviously, VA Systems, VA Hardware, were saying, well, this price is based on the fact that we're in the UK, we want to work with local manufacturers, we want to make sure that the quality control is there, and it's just different types of markets and hardware. And I think, looking at the price as it is, it does seem a bit, oh, wow. But then when you have to start digging into the detail about why that price is what it is. Obviously, we haven't tried it, tested it, so this isn't kind of like a review or anything, but it's something to be aware of, I think.
Yeah, and, not only are they manufacturing it in the UK, but they're putting the things together themselves. It's not like they're getting a company down the road to put it together for them. They're kind of putting parts together, probably soldering things. I can't wait to see photos of their manufacturing process.
What's this? How do I do this? Yeah. No, it's interesting. And just thinking about, talking about taking flight sim out of the computer, Say Intentions today had 3 announcements. First one to do with the traffic, the air traffic, which is huge, coming very soon, later next month to their premium subscribers, I believe. Then they talked about this new plan to encourage innovative thinkers who have this cool idea, but maybe not the startup or the team or the resource to start it, called Launchpad. And then finally, what I thought was the coolest thing of
this was very cool.
Was it Pocket Sky?
Pocket Sky, very good. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this is cool. So when Brian was on stage talking about, you can do your flight and then actually have a date night, but still feel connected to your flight, and just double check as they go to the bathroom or something.
I'd get into more trouble if I kept doing that on a date than if I was to just go home and do a flight.
Or just nip off to the bathroom, just double check. But it was a really cool product, and it's available now for a select portion of their community as well.
And not only that, it's a control center for flight. So you might be a student learning to fly. I'm behind you, making life quite hard for you via AI, and I think that's really cool. In fact, it's a product that I would use quite a lot. I tend to get something like Volanta to check my flight if I'm walking the dog on a long flight or going to have some food. But having something that gives you a bit more detail as to what's the status of the aircraft and how you can pretty much interact with your aircraft from your phone. I think that's really helpful.
I do. just to reel off a few more real quick ones that I've just remembered. So Orbex teased Perth Airport, which is a return back to an Australian airport for them, which is awesome. Toby are doing a sale here for their eye tracker. It's great to have them back here. Who else did we have real quick? God, there was so much stuff going on.
I guess AI, Fly Shirley, they launched this time last year at the show. Integrates a bit like it's a co-pilot essentially, but now it's browser run, which is crazy. Just runs off your browser, connects to your SIM, and given that it connects to X-Plane, the AI voice is, of course, Mr. Austin Meyer, which I wouldn't expect anything less. But they've really integrated some really cool features. So not only can it tell you where your nearest exit on a runway is, or tell you to get your landing gear up or down if you're landing, Callum. But it can interact with the aircraft. So if you say, right, you can take control of the flaps and gear when we take off, and it'll just interact with the aircraft. Or you want to change your location to a 5 mile funnel, it will just make it happen.
That's cool.
Make it happen for you. So it can really integrate and manipulate the sim for you as well, like a true co-pilot.
Yeah, that's really cool. Any builds?
Yeah.
I mean, they kicked off the show with a little preview of their Providence, which, again, thinking about walking through that virtual show floor and actually being here, and I'm like,
it feels a bit surreal. It's like I feel like you've been here already.
Yeah. And then they obviously released Doha today and Doha Landmarks, which I think we knew about those airports previously.
Possibly.
Don't quote me on that. It's been a long day, but really good to see that they're releasing a huge airport out in the Middle East. And then we also had the announcement of the ultra long range stuff for the A350 as well, and the cabin.
So
packs as well.
cabin packs, your favourite airline, my favourite airline, in the 350. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's just like a nice way, because a lot of people want these virtual cabins, and it's nice to have a bit more in-depth look at them. But the ultra long range, I mean, those electricity bills for doing Singapore to New York and back are going to skyrocket. And Anybuilds have a really cool booth as well here, and they shared the stage with Synaptic as well.
A really awesome group of guys,
which we've met for the first time this week.
And they surprised me because, not that it's a positive or negative thing, but they were a lot younger, a lot younger people than I expected them to be, but have a wealth of knowledge, really passionate, and they're dealing with an airframe that is quite unknown. There's only 2 of our team that's been on one as a passenger, let alone trying to get systems data or all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's really positive for them. Speak really, really passionately about the aircraft, really knowledgeable, and it's their first time at an expo as well. So they were really excited to
be here and
just be here.
Another surprise was Contrail for me. We predicted they were going to talk about a store update or something to do with that, because that's what Contrail
or a partnership or something.
But not to come out with an aircraft that looks pretty much good to go. Obviously, it's a 2025 release. There's still 6 months left of the year. But that just came out of nowhere.
So it's a Dassault Falcon 50, 3-engined private jet. It's fairly old now, the airframes, but still, I mean, it looks definitely like a Dassault. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful aircraft, and I think that will tick a lot of boxes for the private jet flyers. Which actually, there's more private jets coming online now, but there's still not many. And many of the detail that we saw today, I think it's going to be a real strong product for them.
And Lars is known for his quality scenery stuff from 29 Palms. His whole identity with Contrail is that it's the quality marketplace. So if he's kind of had all these past experiences, I expect no less from when he does release that aircraft.
He strikes me as a perfectionist, and I'd be very surprised if it wasn't anything less than very good. So.
So there was this SoFly one as well. I don't know what you've made of that.
He's a good speaker on stage.
Full disclosure,
it was you.
It was me.
But you've changed your shirt now, so it's like you never see you and that guy in the same place.
No, my twin.
I think the first, because it's not your product, but you showcased a product that wasn't yours. It was Terra Builder. We witnessed a rocket launch.
Yeah.
A fantastic rocket launch. The sounds are amazing, and I think it looks like a really great product. I'm going to go home and buy it. But then, hey, I'm not going to tell you what you've launched. You tell us.
Well, it was fun because we obviously did predictions, and I asked you to guess, and you were like, probably not an airport.
Yeah.
And I announced Bristol Airport.
Definitely should have guessed that.
Yeah. For me, it's just one of those airports I've always wanted to do. Pilot Plus have done an amazing job with their rendition, which released kind of 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah, a while ago now, yeah.
And Bristol Airport, if you're not familiar, it's gone through a hell of a lot of change, and it is continuously going through change. And I just, I've reached out to those guys, and they don't seem to be working in flight simulation anymore. They're very focused on VR, which is amazing, and those guys are killing it in what they're doing.
They've gone from flight sim to surgery.
It's wild, but they're
crazy,
doing amazing stuff. And I figured my local airport, I now have a lot more experience in learning, and I want to make it right. So yeah, super excited about that. And then I did leave you with a little tease in our predictions video about you need to listen out for that final announcement as well.
Yeah, announcement was very good. Cabin announcements.
So I couldn't really release that. Obviously talked a bit about the subscription stuff, but I really wanted to make sure that we talked about products for this year. So aircraft sound enhancer, working with Echo 19. They're really cool guys. If you know their stuff already, you know the sound effects are really, really good. So I'm really pleased to be partnering with them. And the panel as well is cool, which is designed by the guys who've done the Dark Ocean design, so VA Systems, all that kind of, that family of people. Thrilled about that. And I got a round of applause, which is always a win.
There you go. No animals this year?
No.
No fauna or flora? Fauna. Yeah.
Or dinosaurs.
Yeah. Which I'm quite sad about.
That was a talking point last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's cool.
No one else brought dinosaurs.
No, that's true. Imagine bringing one on the show floor instead of a Patriot plane. Man, that was a busy show. Anyone else that you can think of? I feel like we
might check notes maybe.
I mean, there was certainly, and there was also these like 1 minute trailers in between everything as well.
It was overload.
Yeah.
In
a good way.
In such a good way. It was so captivating. The whole day, there was not a boring, updates or bug fixes, all of that stuff.
I mean, even FSS, another person that was up on stage, they had a bit of here's a bit of about our airplane, but also here's a bunch of stuff that's coming in the future as well.
The TechNam, flight trainer. It looks great, and again looks a little bit further along than I would have expected as well.
Yeah, but I think everyone bought their A game today. I think everyone realizes this is the stage to announce stuff. This is the stage to talk about your product and to appeal to not just the audience in the room, to the audiences online. I mean, there are thousands of people watching, and people are going to be still catching up on content even now.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, because we've well and truly earned a bit of time off now before we kick off tomorrow, because tomorrow we've got the FS Elite stage.
We do.
Full of announcements again. If you need to watch any of those, you need to head to FlightSimExpo.com/watch, and you can sign up for a $15 one-time only payment, and you can watch all of our content, and you can also watch the community stage stuff as well. And we've got our floor tour in the morning.
We do.
So we're going to rest our voices.
I've been working on my camera holding.
No more gimbal drops this year.
No more seasickness.
No. But yeah, so I think that's going to wrap everything up for tonight. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I'm very in need of a room on my own.
Yes. Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. We have been Callum and Jordan from FS Elite. Enjoy the rest of our FlightSimExpo 2025 content. We know it's been an amazing day so far. We have plenty more content to come, so stay tuned and we'll see you over the weekend.